ayayere uyo uko kuno apo pano mamuona kere nice.
Right, 13 December 2021, and today I'm joined by my usual guest, Mr. Tinashe Jonas. How are you, sir?
Very fine. We are surviving this Omicron.
Okay, fantastic. And you're looking good. I thought you were going to be worse off than me.
Yeah, no, I'm surviving. To make sure that 2023, I see my change. Mourning in grief. Kuba sasanga, kuba rakasha.
I don't know what is going to happen. A lot is happening, and it's starting to get very, very confusing. Over the past few weeks, I think things have been happening that I did not expect. Okay, so are you there, Mr. Jonas?
I'm ready.
Okay, I want to quickly play this clip, and then I want to take it from there.
Okay.
But there were those of us who genuinely believed in you, who knew that there was going to be a change, who felt that this change was going to be positive, and this change was going to shake the world. In July 2007, you invited me to your office, and I was humbled. And at that time, I think your office was at the corner house where the British High Commission used to be. I obliged. Among some of the things that we discussed, a statement stuck out. You said, I like your mind. I like your brains. There's a time in the future that is coming when I shall be able to invite you so that we can work together, because I believe strongly that we need to work together. I asked you, how will I know when the time comes? And you said, you will know when the time does come. Meanwhile, stay away from me. Don't get any close. I've got enemies in the system, and they just, excuse me, might bundle you and include you in their fight with me. I obliged. I waited. And when I saw the opportunity, believe me, Mr. President, I have made so much effort to come and see you. I even drafted a document, a 78-page document. It remains confidential. I may not be able to explain it in this audio, but it would change the destiny of Southern Africa if it were implemented. I wrote another one, and this time I requested time, was given space and time at Munumtapa House by the Secretary to the President and Cabinet, whom I did not meet directly, but his lieutenants made me believe that he had sanctioned the move. So I spent approximately 2 weeks in the temporary office writing for you a document for the construction of a city that was going to change Zimbabwe. And there are many companies and countries that were willing to take part in it. They still remain surprised that it has not been taken up.
Right, Mr. Jonas, I think I've played enough of this audio, and anyone who wants to see it or to listen to it can go to Gambakwe YouTube channel or Facebook page and look for that audio written. Billet Magara launches stunning attack on Mnangagwa. What was your view when you listened to this audio? What did you think was happening?
First, Mr. Magara is disappointed when he met the president, Comrade Mnangagwa, in 2007. and he is claiming that he was promised that when time is right, we are going to work together. And he asked, how would I know the time is right? He was told, when time is right, we are going to work together. Now, there's a chance, now that he is now the head of state or the president of Zimbabwe, I think Mr. Magara's fortunes, according to his own ideas, had changed, because he was now going to work with the president. But he forgot that the president insisted that when the time is right, we're going to work together. Maybe Mr. Magara thinks the time is now, but maybe the president thinks the time is not yet now. And also 2007 to now, that's about almost 14 years. In 14 years, a lot has happened that probably in the president's then mind, he was of much value. Probably now he's no longer relevant to his plans. It's like a soccer. You are a coach and you meet a promising player 14 years back. Surely 14 years later, you might not have plans with that person. So the world is changing in terms of challenges, in terms of everything. So yeah, that's the first thing. He might not be relevant anymore, or the time is not yet still okay. Secondly, he is assuming monopoly on ideas to move Zimbabwe forward. But in his assertion, he is confirming that there are 14 million Zimbabweans. Now, every Zimbabwean has got an idea of Zimbabwe. I don't know why he assumes that he knows a lot about COVID-19. He knows a lot about the president's advisors. He knows a lot about the economy. He knows a lot about designing a new city, and that can change Southern Africa. I don't know where his thinking has been tested, because he comes back and say, I don't have experience in governance. If you don't have experience, so why are you teaching someone who has been in government for almost half a century? And he seems to love the president, advise the president, condemn the president. And to me, again, he is mentioning that the late is his Nazi, is his relative. I don't know why. If he met the president 14 years ago, why would maybe without the referencing of the late Mr. Mnazi, may his soul rest in peace. Now, why, if he wants to meet the president for the second time, why would you want to reference the late Mr. Mnazi? It seems like, to me, he's now thinking that maybe my relative Mnazi is late. Probably I might, because he's talking much of moving the country forward. I think he's thinking in his shallow mind and his whole political strategy, he's thinking that maybe he can be the head of Zida, and he might maybe restore the legacy of the late Mnazi. And there's no scientific evidence that his document, 78-page document, would really move the country forward, because he's assuming that the government of Zimbabwe, the Second Republic, doesn't have ideas at all. And all the people who are advising the president are wrongly advising him. And that is myopic, that is very limited, and that is very nonsensical. And what else again? He mentioned a statement, although I can't repeat it, but where he said the creature, that statement is purely what the language, political language of Mr. Mawere. So from that statement, I analyzed that this guy might be schooled somewhere by Mr. Mawere, whose political ideology and idea I never understood. Because there's 42 minutes of rambling. I don't know whether he is trying to be a president's advisor. I don't know whether he is trying to be a chief economist. He is the best strategist for Zimbabwe. There is an element of him wanting to form a political party, and then he started by advising the president publicly. To me, this guy has got a wrong PR manager or campaign manager. This guy is wanting to start a political party, and he has got presidential aspirations, and he's trying to advise the president so that he proves that his ideas are superior than the president and the government, and above all Zimbabweans. And again, this guy might be from the G40 cabal. This guy might be aligned to the Chamisas, but at the end of the day, everything is hogwash, everything is nonsensical.
Okay. So, Mr. Jonas, I think I want to cover a few things that you raised. Let's start with the experience of Billet Magara. Yeah. Billet is one of the, Zimbabwe is one television station. He was on ZBC every morning. Obviously, you don't get to be on ZBC News without a connection to the government somehow. So he's heavily connected to the government. And if you look at his LinkedIn profile, he's got a lot of experience. He's the founding director at Atlantis Rising Corporation. He is previously the founding executive publisher at Third Eye International. He was the executive chairman at Andromeda Petroleum Company from 2015 to 2017, which worked in Venezuela, South Africa, Kuwait, Iran, and Syria, and Russia. In 1997, he was the marketing director at Joy TV, and then he was a presenter at ZTV Television 1. Every morning you used to see him. And then he was the research officer for English at the Zimbabwe Examinations branch. And as he said, he's a Muduma. You know what a Duma is?
No.
Are you aware? Okay. Basically, in Zimbabwe politics, most of the politicians in Zimbabwe, they come from the area from Masvingo as you go towards the Eastern Highlands. Like everyone that you know, Chamisa, Morgan Tsvangirai, Linda Masarira, all these people that you know, Mnangagwa, they come from this area in Masvingo. So this guy is from Masvingo. He's connected, a Karanga, basically. And what I would expect, and from your point of view, that is a G40, I would not agree that is G40. Otherwise, they would not have given him access to the president's office. I don't think they were going to give him access to the president's office. Why do you think they gave him that access for 2 weeks to sit in the president's office to draft documents? What was happening there?
Okay. We should remember that the president's office it's a public place for any Zimbabwean who's suggesting to have progressive ideas. The president's office gathers whether intelligence or gathers information from its citizens and also external countries, and then they select what they think is good. They've got their own ideas, but they also gather from. That's why intelligence is there. And so, if you've got any ideas, you are allowed to write a proposal, and you are given an email address. If it's not on internet, and everyone is free to write a proposal to the office of the president or to any government entity. Every Zimbabwean has got that right. Even foreigners, they are allowed to write proposals. Because if the proposals, the ideas are good, the government will adopt them. Because the government is run on ideas. So that's
okay. So were they just collecting intelligence from him? Were they just collecting ideas and they didn't intend at all to do it? Okay.
When I'm saying intelligence here, I don't mean really that maybe the CIO office was collecting information. In intelligence, in this case, I'm referring to information or ideas. When you write a proposal, you are proposing an idea. The person who reads your proposal, whether it's a one person or it's a committee, they are going to say this is a good idea. maybe above everything else, all other proposals. Was it's I think it's a public secret that the president's office gets a lot of proposals from even the people working in government, from with citizens. They can't really take every idea, every proposal. They've got to be convinced that this is the best. Now, for him to be given a space to write, I don't think there was anything extraordinary in that, because
no, it's extraordinary, Mr. Jonas. It's extraordinary. They would never allow me to go into the president's office and sit there for 14 days. They will never allow you. They will never allow any ordinary person to just go there and sit down.
Okay, let me come here and say, this is the person, number one, who once made the president before. This is the person who was working for the government. And if you're working for TV, obviously you're a public figure and you are known. You know, your status also sometimes, the way you are received, your status counts. So this is a person that they would want to get the ideas. Now, but if they didn't take this idea, it means they were so nice to him. They were welcoming to him, but they were not welcoming to his ideas. Now you can't be bitter if you, because even myself, I'm also free to send a proposal. But if they don't take my proposal, they take John's proposal. What is important? There are people in the government who are having positions. In the positions of power, it means they make powerful decisions. They can't take every person who sends the proposal. Then they will end up. What if they receive 2 million proposals? 10 years or 5 years in power is not enough to implement more than 2 million proposals.
Okay, but he said he was blocked more than 12 times from seeing the president. It means he kept making a request. Why does the president not want to meet him?
Thank you. A very good question. No, this guy is saying, number one, there are 14 million Zimbabweans. I can tell you, Mr. Gambako, even myself, I would cherish the moment to meet the president or the vice president or even a minister. It's a privilege to meet such people. Every Zimbabwean. That's why when a president comes for rally, sometimes even some youngsters, they even climb the trees to just have a glimpse of the president. A president is the first citizen of the country. So for him wanting to meet the president, it's fine. But the president must meet every citizen of the country. That's about 14 million appointments in 5 years. That's impossible. Now, he talks like he has got a monopoly of meeting the president. If he met the president 14 years ago, the president was so nice to him. It doesn't mean that the president, once the president said we are going to work in future together, the president has got a capacity to locate that person, every citizen in Zimbabwe. The president has got a capacity to summon his team to say, look for this person. I want him to work with him. You don't need to, after a promise with the president, you don't need to assume that the president has forgotten. And if you make an attempt to meet the president, there are many things involved when you meet the president. There's even a security issue. I want to assume that the people in the president's office determines your intention. Are you genuine? Are you not? You don't just say, I want to meet the president tomorrow, and then tomorrow you're meeting the president. Otherwise, the president also has got a schedule, and it must be a busy schedule. You don't have a monopoly or getting frustrated because you never met the president, and then you make an audio to reach the president. Number one, two, you review even other promises the president said to you. Probably that was the reason why the president never met him, because at some point maybe doesn't even know how to keep secrets. You don't meet a vice president or a minister and then tell the whole country what transpired in the meeting.
Okay. Do you think there are more people like this who feel that the president is not giving them a chance?
Okay.
To speak to them? They've got good ideas. The people around the president are just blocking people. Because I've put this on Gambago.com. I put the whole statement. I sat down for hours writing this down.
Okay.
He says our country is rotting, our economy is half dead, and they are not going to open industry, much as they would reassure you behind closed doors. They will not do that. Are there more people right now who are supporting the president? Because these people were close to, before the change of government, they were supporting President Mnangagwa. Now they are saying what you did, what you promised before you came in, you're not achieving, or you're not giving us a chance to participate. Do you think there are more people like this?
Thank you, Mr. Kabakwe. I will start with do you think there are more people like this? The answer is definitely yes. Because almost a majority of 14 million Zimbabweans, they would want to have a one-on-one session with the president. What the president is like a family, it's like a father in a family. Which child doesn't want to meet the father? So definitely, it's almost 90, maybe every Zimbabwean would want to meet the president one-on-one. Because it's a privilege. But
that's not true, Mr. Jonas. I don't think that's true. I think the reason why people want to meet the president is because there's no structure underneath that allows people to achieve what they want to achieve without meeting the president.
Okay,
so let's say I want to achieve something in Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to Zimbabwe with my proposal and it is actioned and I see results, I don't need to meet the president. It's like you walk to, I gave you this example before. You walk to the Harare City Council, you want to pay your bill. If there's someone who receives your money and they give you a receipt, you don't have to stand there and say, I want to see the mayor. Is it not because there's no way of getting things done except if you meet the president?
Okay, thank you so much. Remember, he has already almost preempted his intention to meet the president, which includes COVID-19, the economy. I want to imagine the new city he was talking about. I want to believe it's a new smart city. The government is already doing that in Westgate area. There, where there's a parliament. The government has plans to build smart cities. And now, what is mentioned in his proposal, there are so many government entities to deal with. When you talk about COVID, there's the Minister of Health, and you don't even need to meet the minister. There are entry levels areas that you can be helped. You can submit your proposal. Every government ministry has got a capacity and structure to receive those ideas. But now, it's also a wrong strategy to always want to meet the president. The president has got ministries. Why are they ministries? Ministries is a national government. There's a there's provincial government. There's a local government. He is jumping all that because at some point he had a one-on-one meeting with the president. I want to assume by then he was a vice president. Now you still think I need to meet him. It's a wrong mentality for every citizen with ideas to think you need to meet the president. The president insists with a lot of things which are being implemented, not to start a new ideas on paper. Even in his office, everywhere you are, there's a government representative. There's your MP, there's your councillor, there's everything. So I think
okay, Mr. Jonas, please, I want you to answer this question because you know why?
Yeah.
Jonathan Moyo, last week, he complained that he would only see Mugabe once a year. Did you see that complaint by Jonathan Moyo?
Yes.
So Jonathan Moyo was the Minister of Information. He communicated for the government.
Yes.
And here we've got Magara. He has to make an audio to be heard. I think the president only heard what Magara was saying after he heard this audio. Is there no problem in the structure around the president, which makes it impossible for ideas to flow from people in the nation to the president's office, and then from the president's office to the president? Is there a way that someone in there is filtering ideas and blocking things from getting to the president himself? And then people have to actually look for him to say, if I want things done, I must walk to the president.
All right. A very progressive question, Mr. Kabakwe. I will say thank you for that question. I said the president. The question is, who is the president? The president is the head of government. And what is government? Government is citizen of Zimbabwe. Which starts from local, from Sabuku. A village head is a government. A chief is government. A councillor is government. A mayor is government. Member of parliament is government. The council is government. I mean, any authority is a government. But people are, there are some citizens who assume they are of more importance, they need to meet the president. The president, to meet individual people, that's why the government structure has got representation. There is someone who is a resident minister, a provincial minister of every province has got a minister. That person is the president's office because he is representing the president as the head of the government in a provincial setup. There is a councillor, he is representing the president in a ward setup. But people are refusing that structure, which is clear. The government is defined. The structure of the government is in the constitution of the country, and the structure of the council is defined. How chiefs are working is defined. Member of parliament, everything. The parliament, people are ignoring that and think I've got a superior logic, I've got a superior idea, and this idea can only be presented to the president. The president is not even capacitated.
Yeah, but the president is meeting someone like Passion Java,
okay,
who just go there and he doesn't have a document. Okay. He doesn't have an investors which Magara says he's got here countries that wanted to invest.
Thank you.
Passion Java just goes there and he sits and he have breakfast with the president.
Okay.
This is the question that I'm trying to ask you. That of course people don't want to meet the president. They want.
Let me answer.
Yes.
The president is not really a person per se. The president is his office. Because the word the president is a responsibility that is duties to be done. Whether the president can go to Canada and sit for 6 months and having work done by his team, no one must complain. Because the word the president, it means the office, which is well staffed and structured. Now, the president, his office is manned by so many offices, including the Central Intelligence Organization, which is responsible for security. And security of the country starts with the president. There are people who can meet the president with good intentions. There are people who can meet the president even maybe as suicide bombers, who can even explode when they meet the president and kill the president. Now, the president must be the most protected citizen in the country. I'm talking about security. And then in terms of ideas and proposals, I don't know of a country where the president must receive written proposals, must be available for pitching of ideas and presentations. That's why it's called the government. Some ideas they wanted police, you go to the Ministry of Police, including the local police station. You don't even need to just meet a minister. The government is structured according to the constitution of the country. And anyone who doesn't know the government structure, how the government works, they can download the constitution and they are allowed to go to any government offices to ask for the constitution of the country. The constitution defines operations and structure of the government. And the constitution was not written by the president.
Okay.
Passion Java. Let me talk about Passion Java. Although I'm not, I don't have much information, but Passion Java is a citizen of Zimbabwe, and we don't know the circumstances that led Passion Java to meet the president, maybe once or more, but it's definitely he had to go through formal ways. Because you can't just pop up at Munumutapa building or State House and say, I'm Tinashe Jonas, I am Passion Java, I want to have breakfast with the president. No, it doesn't work like that. There's a certain process he went through, and we don't know what Passion Java is doing or ideas. But when we see a video of him with the president having breakfast, that's where we summarize the whole intentions, the whole objectives to breakfast. Surely, and even though it's not only Passion Java, Charles Manucci, the boxer, met the president, and I read that he was given a present of $10,000 US. The president was even jabbing, boxing with him. And Murizo, the musician, Chifi Shumba, the musician, this one, Nakamba, I think it's Marvelous Nakamba, who plays for Aston Villa in the English Premier League. He made the president. The list can go on. My TT, the comedian, the list can go on and can go on. All these citizens make the president. But the president can't meet everyone.
Okay, I think we've exhausted this topic. We've been over 30 minutes now. And the point that I'm hearing you making is that the president is an office and there are structures underneath him which can deal with citizens. And my response to you is, if someone is being called into the office of the president to sit there for 2 weeks, like Billet Magara, right? I don't know where he's staying. Maybe he's staying overseas. He comes to Zimbabwe. He writes a 78-page document. He gets investors. And then he hears nothing back. I think that shows that maybe structurally there's something that needs to be done to capture ideas from citizens. Because there are so many Zimbabweans with ideas and they're frustrated when they want to take these ideas and put them into action, when there's a lack of a structure. So I think this is where Zida was supposed to sit. That's why I keep asking you this question, because I want to go to the issue of Zida, the Zimbabwe Development Agency. I think this is where the gap is, that people now have to look for the president, because if you want to invest or if you want to bring an investor, there is no way. The people in the system are not yet used to this new way of working, where they have to come together, work on a project or the proposal without involving the politicians. So you end up having to be pushed. So everyone who comes to Zimbabwe to invest, they know that they have to first of all go to the president's office before they can do anything. And I think this Magara situation, it demonstrates what you are saying, that people should not be going to look for the president. If you want to do a city in South Africa, you don't look for Ramaphosa. You look for a development agency, you look for a hub, you look for a bank and so forth. In Zimbabwe, is that not the way the problem is, that we don't have that structure that captures these investments?
All right. I don't know how to rescue Mr. Kabagwe from being captured by the idea that there's no structure. All right. Every country is structured according to the constitution of the country. If we say the government of Zimbabwe is not structured, directly we are saying there's no constitution in Zimbabwe. And in the absence of the constitution, there is no government at all. And we don't have a president at all. Because the president is the final person to head, is the final point on top of the government structure. So the president is more like the last thing to have in the country, because he's on top of the government structure. In the absence of from the bottom of the government going up, then the president is not there. Because what is the president going to command? Because from the president, we are talking about the executive. The president is from the president is the vice president. Presidium is the ministers. That's the executive. We have got the legislature, which has got your chief justice, your parliament. I mean, we have got the other side, the legislature, the parliament. Sorry. Then we have got the judiciary, your chief justice, your courts, Supreme Court, whatever. All these are government structures. Your member of parliament, your everything. The structure is not set up by the president. The structure is set up by the constitution. Even him, the president's office is also set up by the constitution of the country. Now, we have got a structure, but there are citizens who assume that they are better than anyone, and their ideas won't be listened to. Any other person is useless except the president himself. We have got even the politicians like Nelson Chamisa, who is on record that I want a dialogue and with only the president Mnangagwa. I can't meet Monzor, I can't meet anyone. It's a mentality of superiority. There are citizens who think a president is just an ordinary citizen. But his office, that's why I say if the president can be sick now or can be on leave for 30 days, his office continue to function. Because
okay, but let's take Monzora.
Yeah.
Monzora has been trying to meet President Mnangagwa and writing letters for the past, I don't know how many months, 6 months. I mentioned this week. Chamisa has been writing letters to President Mnangagwa, trying to meet him, and he's been failing. And here we've got Billet, who is saying the same thing. I've heard many people here who came and said, I tried to communicate with the president and I could not get through.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Gambagwe.
Take for example, Monzora. Monzora, why is the president, for example, not wanting to meet Monzora?
Thank you so much. I wanted to uncapture you. You are captured with the idea that the president can't be met. Although you have mentioned to about that he had breakfast. I mean, so on the other hand, you say the president is not, you can't meet you. On the other side, you talk about Twabam, you talk about Maititi, you can't deny Nakamba, you can't deny Edumurito, you can't deny all those people. They are meeting the president. The president goes to rallies where he's meeting ordinary people in numbers, in thousands. Now, our president is not like isolated behind thick walls. He's always, even, I think yesterday, I can't remember, today he was in Peru, at Kudzanai bus terminus, where he was meeting the vendors, everyone, commissioning the revamped Kudzanai bus terminus. And surely, any vendor or tout there, Windy, would have seen the president today. So that's how accessible he is. Now, there are certain, Monzora met the president on record. We heard that Monzora met the president at the State House together with the VP, Comrade Wenger. We know all that. That is on record. And Monzora confirmed that. Now, the same Monzora now wants another meeting. In other words, the president's office processes appointments according to his diary, number one. Two, according to the agency or the need. Monzora and this Chamisa party, whether MDC Gogo, MDC Monzora, Coupe, MDC Pugen, the president a party is splitting into pieces every day, and the president must meet all the pieces which are multiplying every hour. These guys lost election, combined to the president. Now the president is running the party, and they want a government of national unity to eat through back door. And the president must be abused by meeting Monzora every time. Who is Monzora in Zimbabwe? Who is Monzora? Because the president it's his kindness to meet opposition. But surely the president can't fit in Monzora's diary. Monzora is at Harvest House there, he's bored. He doesn't have much to do to implement, and then he wants to meet the president. And the president must leave a national diary to meet Monzora for the second time. And we know Monzora doesn't want elections. He knows that he will lose. And Monzora they want a government of national unity. Chamisa want to meet the president to challenge his legitimacy. According to the government structure of Zimbabwe, the judiciary, which preside over the courts, Chamisa is illegitimate, and he was removed from being the president of MDC. He was removed from accessing Harvest House. But the same Chamisa has got guts to say ED is technically for Comrade Mnangagwa to surrender power to him. That's circus. And the president can be reduced to play monkey and baboon games.
Okay. I think there is a lot here, Mr. Jonas, that you have said. But I think if I was in the president's office, I would seriously consider what Billet Magara is saying here, not in terms of the content, but in terms of how the office of the president is viewed by people. I don't think Zimbabweans understand the office of the president. And you basically said it here yourself, that people think the office of the president is where you go. It's like if you go to a village, you have to go to the headman. But the office of the president, I don't think it should be like that. And my view, as we said here, was that there is something or someone in that office that needs to be changed. That's what Billet is saying here, that there is a problem in terms of granting access to people and granting access to ideas. Ideas are not getting, so people who love the president, they are getting frustrated when they want to get close to him with good ideas. And then the people who like to do comedy, who just want to go there and say, I don't know, someone who wants to make jokes and play with a guitar, or someone who wants to say twabam, or someone who wants to go and say and stand there and just do nothing, they easily quickly get access. But someone wants to sit down and talk and present an idea and a document and a strategy, they are not allowed to go there. And then outside of the president's office, there's nowhere else to go.
I think I need to challenge you, Mr. Gambagwe, because this, you know what? The same Magara was given a permission, and he met the president in 2007. And how many people have met the president as a president, as a vice president? I've never met Comrade Mnangagwa like on one-on-one. Whenever I meet him maybe at a rally or somewhere. I've never met him one-on-one in my life. So someone already who has met the president is complaining that there's no access. But Mr. Gambagwe, maybe you've never met the president in his capacity as the president or vice president or as a minister. Have you met him before?
No, I don't want to meet president. You know what I want, Mr. Jonas? Let me tell you what I want.
Okay, let me assume you haven't met him. I also haven't.
No, I haven't.
Okay, someone here who is complaining, we are talking about, he has met the president before. Now, the second time, he was accommodated in the office of the president to be given all the support needed for him to write his document or proposal. If you are not welcome, they just give you an email address and say, go and write your proposal. Even in companies, Mr. Gabago, you know that. If someone phones you with an idea, you give them your email, they must write their email somewhere and then email it. But the president's office went all the way to a guy without a proposal, who just said, talking with his mouth. They opened their doors. They gave him all 2 weeks or almost 2 weeks of coming with all the support to write a proposal. Then, after finishing his proposal, he handed it over. They received it physically, not with an email. Physically, and they went through the proposal. And by now, what is the guarantee that they are not considering the proposal? What if this guy Magara was going to get a call or a response next week or next year? But they will respond to him if they want to implement the program. Probably they are not interested in the project. Is that a crime? If you write a proposal and they don't respond to you, it surely means they are considering it or they are not interested. And is that a crime? This guy accessed the office of the president for the second time. And they treated him for 2 weeks and still cried that because he just wanted the face of Mnangagwa. Is he gay? Does he want the president to be his boyfriend?
I don't think so. You know what, Mr. Jonas? I think let's bring this to an end.
So yeah. Now, this is a crybaby who thinks that he may be his brother Munazi he was like a top dog. Maybe you want to maintain the legacy of Mnangagwa. It's bullshit. It's nonsense. Sorry, it is nonsense. Now, so Twabam and other people who meet the president, let's not reduce the president to meet only entertainers. The president is also meeting ministers. The president is meeting serious business people. The president is meeting foreign investors. Last time we even saw the president when someone talks about investors. Now let me prove to you that he's a liar. When he talks about investors, he's a liar. Why is he a liar? His own relative, family member, was the head of Zida, Zimbabwe Investment Development Agents, whatever. His family member was the head of an investment arm of the government. Why then would you want to meet the president? Because his relative just passed on a few days ago. All along, he has been trying to meet the president, being blocked 12 times. During that time, his relative was alive. And this is the person who was tasked by the president to deal with the matters of investment. And this person has got all the powers from the president. And it's his family member. This is a proof that the guy is lying. Why didn't he have a drink with Mnangagwa or go to his office?
Okay, I get you. And personally, I wouldn't want to meet the president. I'm telling you the honest truth. I don't want to meet politicians because it makes my life difficult. So if I meet Chamisa, if I meet Kupe, if I meet Monzora, if I meet the president, it makes my life difficult. So I don't want to meet them. What I would want is I would want a structure. Let's say if I walk to Zida, I want to be able to quickly walk into Zida, do my business, and get a result and go away and start making money. That's what I want.
Okay.
Let me tell you my own experience when I went to Zimbabwe, to Zida. When I went to Zida myself, I went in and I realized that they could help me, but they were very limited. The capacity, they didn't have capacity to help me at all. I ended up having to finish the things that they started without them. And I think that Zida is critical. It needs to be addressed. The issue of Zida is a big problem. I think you saw the report that came out today about the friendliness of Zimbabwe to investors. This is not a trivial matter, what Magara is raising here. If you really want to invest in Zimbabwe, there are so many hurdles that may need a president to say to someone, I told you to do this, you have to do it. And I think this is what people are looking for when they are looking for the president. They're not looking for him because they want to meet him. They are looking for him because everything else underneath is not doing what it's supposed to do. It's not working the way it's supposed to work, which is why they created Zida to fix these issues.
Are we saying government structures from member of parliament to ministers? Are we saying everything starts and finishes with the president? Ministers, they in their offices, they are just maybe watching cartoons.
No, I'm saying the structures are there, but they are not functional. So let me give you an example. Yes. The reason why they created Zida is a one-stop shop.
Yeah, true.
It's a place where you can walk. You register a company. After you register a company, you meet the Minister of Lands. After you meet the Minister of Lands, you meet the Minister of Public Works. You don't have to struggle. If someone wants to build a city, they can present their proposal to everyone in one room, at one place at the Zida office, and everything is finished. What happens with Magara is that he wrote his proposal, then he presented it to someone. That person took that proposal and they put it in a desk. Similarly, he wrote another one. The same person took the document and put it in a desk. And then they kept quiet. Magara was left with no choice but to do a voice note. That is the first time the president heard that there was such a thing. If Zida was functional, what would have happened is the city was going to be taken, the idea was going to be taken, going to be presented, then it moves from one office to another. Then after they present it, they got the Minister of Land. Minister of Land provides them with piece of land. The Minister of Public Works and Local Government, they do their part. Water is provided by Zinwa. The president is not needed anyway there.
Okay.
But in this particular case, because Magara's proposal is sitting in a
Mr.
desk.
Mr. Mnangagwa, tell me, in Magara's case, what factor compelled the proposal to be handed over to the president and not to Zida, where the head of Zida was his family member?
Zida is not functional. That's what I'm saying to you. If Zida was functional, Magara was going to go and sit at his own office and then set up a meeting with Zida. Then they present these proposals. They don't call the president because the president doesn't want to build the city. The president will just come at the end.
Okay.
And say, okay.
Okay. Are you saying Zida as an entity is not working in Zimbabwe?
No, it's not working. That's what I'm saying. That's why you see people like him. They are saying we're the city. A city does not get discussed with the president. The president doesn't have time to discuss a city, how it is going to set up,
now I see,
who's going to be there.
I see where you have got a problem, Mr. Gambagwe. Your problem, you know, where it lies. A government has got officials. Officials determine which projects are going to be implemented or not. As ordinary citizens, we have got a right to propose. We don't have a right of approval. If I go to court and report to you, Mr. Gambagwe, that maybe you owe me or something, the authority here, the magistrate or the judge, high court judge or whatever it is, level of the judiciary, that I surrender my issue or my case to that person. That person will determine the outcome of what. If I report a case and I take it to court, I'm doing a law proposal, a judicial proposal that is going to be determined by the magistrate or judge. It's a proposal. Reporting a case is a proposal. But now, it's the same as a business or economic proposal. Your powers ends in handing over or emailing. The powers that be, they determine whether they approve it or not. Let's not say something is not functional if you get an unfavorable result. Zida gets proposals from people in Harare, in Zimbabwe, in Africa, internationally. There's someone from US who would want to invest in Zimbabwe everywhere. But every country has got a vetting system. There can be a company that is coming to Zimbabwe to invest maybe in landmines or in military hardware. They also look at the pros and cons. What if a country can even start manufacturing military hardware in Zimbabwe and sponsor rebels within the same country? A country is run as a system. That's why they call it a system. You don't just bring a proposal and then it must be implemented. If it's not implemented, then the government is not functional. They don't have a structure. No, it doesn't mean that the government has got competent people. Some people that they are not competent, they can be capacitated. The people in the government, on their own, they are also functioning. The government its own, they do meetings. They also propose ideas in the Ministry of Housing, the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investors, Foreign Trade. They also do meetings and they also implement things. An external proposal must be better than whatever they have on the table. Because as a ministry, for example, of economic development and finance, they've got proposals that they do and they implement. When they take yours outside their ministry, it must be better. That's what.
Okay, I think to solve this issue,
mm-hmm.
let us try to find Magara himself. I've been trying to get hold of him, and unfortunately, I'm not able to get hold. I don't know where he's gone to. When I try to contact him, I'm not able to get hold of him. So if he is watching this, I want him to contact me so that we can discuss this issue. I really feel that he is not a malicious person who just talks. I also don't agree that he wants to form a political party.
No, he's malicious. You know why? He's malicious.
Yeah.
Let me show you. Let me prove to you that he's malicious. I said it at the beginning that is a piece of nonsense. Why? Number one, he says he doesn't have experience in governance system. Now, when you don't have experience in governance system, it means you surely don't have experience. And then he goes on to challenge the Ministry of Health that the COVID policy they are doing is wrong. He goes on to say the economic policies. He goes on to challenge the people who are advising the president. He goes to challenge the president and say, whatever you promised, now you are disappointing us. And what he's literally condemning the whole government, the whole president, and at the same time wanting to meet the president as a superior partner who would then run the government. In other words, if he meets the president and if he is part of partnering with the government, he thinks his ideas are superior to the office of the president, which is running the country. And he's talking about Gukura Hundi. Let's be honest, Mr. Gambagwe. Why would your proposal to build a new city or to improve Zimbabwe has got a reference of Gukura Hundi? Violence. He's talking about there's a time that Zimbabweans will be fed up and the president, he won't like it. They will say enough is enough. And you can't advise the president on matters of intelligence. That he was advising the president. The president must mingle with people to hear what people think. The president is represented in all corners of Zimbabwe, including diaspora. By who? By the Central Intelligence Organization. That department is reporting to the president, is headquartered in the office of the president. And Comrade Isaac Moyo is the director of the intelligence. That means the president gets intelligence briefings, whether daily or per hour or whatever, I don't know. Now, the president understands fully the mood of the country, what people want. When today he was commissioning the Kudzanai Basi rank, he was never there. But he gets a report. There's a minister of Midlands who also reports to the government. That's why there's even devolution that is being implemented in Zimbabwe. The intelligence represents the president. The chiefs represent the president. They represent the member of parliament, the ministers, the police, the military, the prison. All government departments report and represent the president.
Okay, I agree with you. And I think, Mr. Jonas, there is a lot that we can say about the current government of President Mnangagwa. But the difference about this government is that they've got so much potential. I can tell you that myself because I was in Zimbabwe a few weeks ago. People don't know how much potential this government has got. They have got so much happening on the ground in Zimbabwe right now, more than ever in the past. If you go to Zimbabwe and you put your foot in Zimbabwe, you understand what I mean. There's a lot that is happening. It's just that sometimes there's a perception issue because people want to participate. They want to be part of everything, but they are not finding that gap to say, let me get in there and let me participate. That's why people keep asking you, like Jonas.
Let me advise you there.
Yeah.
Zimbabweans are participating very much. Right now, me and you are participating in issues of governance and everything. We are participating. There are people listening to us right now. We are participating. But unless we want to be on ZPC or we want to be in parliament and hold this discussion as a parliamentary debate, participating, you can participate inside the government or outside. There are young people who are doing mining in Zimbabwe. There are laws and rules to follow to participate in economic affairs. But there are people who think for some reasons of their education or skin or status in society, they want to meet the president. want to, if I meet the president myself, it must be through something else that maybe makes me to meet him. Otherwise, when I go to Zimbabwe, I can't make my trip to Zimbabwe a good trip if I meet the president. Because what is it that if I want to meet the president that I can't do without meeting the president? I can even go to ZANU-PF head office and meet people there.
Like I did. I went to ZANU-PF head office myself. And there are a lot of great people at ZANU-PF head office. Many people don't understand.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying to you that there's a whole bunch of places where you can go. But I still come back to...
The president is not a friend that when you are bored, maybe you wanted to watch soccer, then there's maybe electricity load shedding. Then you just say, let me just go to Mutapa building and hang around with the president. The president, even if we can think he's having lunch with someone, that lunch is planned. It's in his diary. He is a busy man. No matter the president can be joking with someone in the street dancing, that dance is planned. Because Zimbabweans, some are in the entertainment industry, some are in the religious circles, some are in the construction sector. The president is a father of everyone. And no matter someone says Tuabam or Twibidi, he also, if he has got a valid reason, proposal, he would meet the president. Because the president would come out on TV and say, I met Tuabam because Papa for this 1, 2, 3 reason. The president he must be able to keep secrets. He
Okay.
can just...
I think let's wrap it up, Mr. Jonas. We've said a lot, and this has been a very interesting discussion. And I hope that when you and me go to Zimbabwe, we won't have to look for the president. We'll get our things done without looking for the president.
We can even go and meet even a councillor or an MP.
Yeah, like I did. As I said to you, when I went to Zimbabwe, I went to Nyabira council. I went there to meet the guys at the council. I met a lot of people, someone that I cannot mention here. But all I'm saying is, and I want to end with this portion, that there's so much happening on the ground in Zimbabwe. If you want to make money in Zimbabwe and you are not afraid to go in on a plane and you go into Zimbabwe and you do your things without looking for politicians, there's a lot happening in Zimbabwe. It's not easy, but the returns are quite high. It's not like with the returns you get in the UK or in South Africa. You can become very wealthy in Zimbabwe. And you don't need to be afraid, but you can't do it remotely. You can't go there for 1 day or 2 days or a week. You have to be on the ground for a year, 2 years, and then you start seeing results. Let's bring this to an end, Mr. Jonas. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
Yeah, no, I'm saying, let's not be selfish. That if you have got a proposal, what is the meaning of the word proposal? It's a rough idea that becomes final when it's approved. It's like you are courting a girl. You want to change, to convert her to be wife. A girl you are courting during courtship is not it's not a relationship. It's not even a wife. And she has got a right to accept you or to deny you. The same with a proposal. A proposal will be taken and implemented or not. If you want your proposal to be implemented, you have the idea yourself and implement it. As a business entity, you can buy land in Zimbabwe, you can build a city. Everyone is allowed to buy land in Zimbabwe and to build a city. Everyone is allowed. But when you make it a proposal, sometimes it means there are some. If something is a very big economic project, surely the government must look at its feasibility and everything. A government is functioning in Zimbabwe. Let's not say the government is not functioning when your own proposal was turned down.
Okay, Mr. Jonas, I really enjoy talking to you. And what I would like to do is, as I said, I want to find Billet Magara, and we talk to him and we hear what he's thinking. So, as I said, if he's watching this and which I know he's going to do because we're talking about his name. So I hope that he's going to watch this and then he will give me a call or WhatsApp me on that number, and we bring him so that we can find out what he's thinking and what is the ideas that he's got, because there is more. This was a very passionate voice note, which 1 hour or almost 1 hour of talking and 78 pages and 2 weeks. That's a lot of investment. So I hope that he gets hold of me and I'll talk to him and find out what's going on, and maybe we can bring him here to talk.
Yeah, but I'm advising Mr. Magara, stop being a president's advisor, and you don't have any monopoly. You have got an equal chance of over 14 million Zimbabweans of meeting the president. Never think that you are at 90% to meet the president. No, your ego, tone down your ego, relax, drink water.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jonas, and good night.
Thank you.
Uyo uko kuno apo